Hi, I'm Tim Smith of the Adams County Historical Society, and we're standing just west of Gettysburg along the railroad cut at McPherson's Ridge, scene of the first day's battle. If you like our Civil War content on our channel, please subscribe and hit the like button. It was here on the morning of July 1st, 1863, that there was heavy fighting between elements of the Union Army from Wisconsin and New York against men from North Carolina and Mississippi. After some heavy fighting in the fields west of the town, the Northern troops in this position had retreated, and Southerners under the command of General Joseph Davis actually took possession of the railroad cut. Other Union soldiers of the Iron Brigade were coming onto the field, and the 6th Wisconsin Infantry, the 95th New York, along with the 14th Brooklyn, formed along the Chambersburg Turnpike and exchanged fire. Rufus Dawes, after speaking with the colonels of the other regiments, organized a charge, and the three regiments came over the double row of fences at the Chambersburg Pike across this open field and hit the railroad cut. I think the Southerners believed that the cut would be a good defensive position. There were no tracks laid at the time of the Civil War. This was part of the Thaddeus Stevens Tapeworm Railroad project that actually had started in the 1830s, and by 1839 it had been abandoned. So the cut was here, but there were no tracks laid until the 1880s. But the cut was a little bit deeper than the Southern Army had considered, and when they dropped inside the cut at this area, they had to climb up the bank to fire their weapons and then climb back down to reload them, and that was an issue. The 6th Wisconsin was upon them. They actually swung forces along around the entrance to the cut, and a few hundred, maybe as many as 300 Southerners were captured in the unfinished railroad cut on July 1st. Now, of course, this was the morning action of the first day when the Northern Army held their own. But by the afternoon, the Northern Army retreated through town, and there was heavy fighting in another railroad cut a few hundred yards away that through Seminary Ridge, and a bunch of Northern soldiers ended up being captured in that railroad cut. In March of 1996, a private citizen was walking through the cut, saw some bones protruding from the bank on the side of the cut. Apparently, he had a little bit of medical experience. He realized they were human remains. He contacted the park. I have been at the park at the visitor center desk in the old days, and several times I was there when someone brought deer bones or cow bones into the park and said they found human remains. But this guy knew what he was talking about. The park came out. They realized that he actually that he was right. They kept it secret for a while, and then they brought a team of archaeologists out. They actually did an archaeological dig at the side of the railroad cut, not far from where I am standing. And eventually, the body, who is believed to have been a Southern soldier from the battle, was buried in the Soldiers National Cemetery in a large ceremony. I think there was nothing on the body to identify what unit he might have been from, or even if he was a Civil War soldier. Two things I remember: that under the body they found a bullet, but of course we're in the middle of heavy fighting, and if it was a hobo that got killed in the 1870s on a railroad, he could have been laying on a bullet as well. But they found that one of his shoes had a heel on it that appeared to be the same as manufactured by a company in North Carolina. So the indication was that it was a North Carolina soldier, not maybe from the morning action, maybe from the afternoon action when Junius Daniel's North Carolinians passed through this area on their attack on Seminary Ridge. But it's fascinating, and today you can visit this soldier's grave in the Soldiers National Cemetery. It's in a box with other bones that have been discovered on the battlefield over the years. The stone says unknown human remains. One last thing is when they put in the railroad in the 1880s, they put a bridge over here over the unfinished railroad. There had actually around the same time the GBMA, or the Gettysburg Battlefield Memorial Association, was putting in an avenue, and monuments were placed along the railroad cut on either side of the bridge. But eventually, as locomotives increased in size, that bridge had to be replaced. They replaced it, I believe, in the 1930s, and the second bridge was at this location. They had to put an embankment up to the bridge to make it taller, and they built up the ground, and they moved a bunch of the monuments in this area. So the 6th Wisconsin, the 95th New York, and on the other side of the railroad cut, you see the 3rd Indiana Cavalry from the morning action, and 147th New York, and even on the other side, the 14th Brooklyn Monument, have all been moved because of that. This bridge was replaced a second time in the 1990s, I believe it was, and they actually so this is the third bridge, at least, over the cut at this spot that I know of.